about to experience a watch-along unlike any other. You are about to relive one of the most infamous matches through the eyes and ear of one of the all-time greats in professional wrestling. You are watching IREF-B exclusively on Premier Streaming Network. Hi, everyone. I'm Efren, and let's bring in the star of IREF-B, one of the all-time greats in WWE history, Mike Chioda.
Efren, how you doing, brother?
Hi,
man,
buddy.
I love that introduction. How you doing? Love that introductory. Thank you for all them kind words, brother.
We are three shows in.
Yes.
We got a ton of great feedback on Candice Michelle versus Beth Phoenix.
Nice.
What did you hear? What'd you think?
Man, I heard some great feedback as well, man, and I just enjoyed doing it. You know, that watch along, and I love the concept of the IREF-B, and I think it's gonna be a fabulous show, man. Coming up, and got quite a few more matches to go over, man. That's for sure. And looking forward for this next one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Thank you to
Randy
everyone who has watched our. You ruined the tease, but that's fine. You can. It's fine. Thank you to everyone who's watched all our episodes, Shane versus Kurt and Candice versus Beth Phoenix. Both shows are available on demand right now at premierstreamingnetwork.com. Tonight's episode of IREF-B is sponsored by Central States Wrestling. Central States Wrestling, the last independent territory. You can find them online at cswwrestling.com. Mike, rumor is that Central States Wrestling may be calling you soon to maintain law and order in Kansas. You up for it?
Yeah, I'm up for it, boy. I got a sheriff's badge and all.
Oh, yeah.
Coming from Tampa, Florida, I'll bring the sheriff's bag and the striped shirts. That's it. Awesome.
Don't make me say it. Mike, tonight's episode of IREF-B, we will be covering Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton from SummerSlam 2016.
Yeah, I remember that match, boy. It's going to be a good one to talk about. I can't wait to talk about it.
Folks, here are your time codes. Peacock users, you will go to SummerSlam Season 29. Your time code, 3 hours, 41 minutes, 6 seconds. Again, Season 29, 3 hours, 41 minutes, 6 seconds. WWE Network users, you will go to SummerSlam August 21st, 2016. Your time code is 3 hours, 40 minutes, 51 seconds. Again, WWE Network users overseas, 3 hours, 40 minutes, 51 seconds. Grab your remote, keep your finger ready to hit that pause button because IREF-B is a second screen hyper-focused show. This countdown clock that you see will count us down to let you know when to freeze and when to resume the show. We are going to freeze this match, Mike, 17 times tonight to analyze the moments you are seeing. During the pauses, I'm going to be asking Mike questions in relation to the moment that is frozen and what is being communicated to and from his earpiece. IREF-B is a watch-along through the eyes and ear of Mike Chioda. So once again, you should be there. If not, pause now. Again, here are your time codes. Peacock users, SummerSlam Season 29, time code 3 hours, 41 minutes, 6 seconds. WWE Network users, you're going to go to SummerSlam August 21st, 2016. Your time code, 3 hours, 40 minutes, 51 seconds. Mike, are you ready?
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready more than you can be, Efren. Let's do this. Let's get
again. Thank you to tonight's sponsor, Central States Wrestling. You can find them online at cswwrestling.com. IREF-B on Premier Streaming Network begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, it is August 21st, 2016, and you are looking at the 29th incarnation of SummerSlam being held for the second of 4 consecutive years at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, after a 6-year run at Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Entering the ring, Mike, is the next big thing, 39-year-old Brock Lesnar. Last time we saw him in a wrestling ring was at WrestleMania 32, defeating Dean Ambrose. But 43 days ago, Mike, Brock Lesnar defeated Mark Hunt by unanimous decision at UFC 200, earning himself an all-time record payout of $2.5 million for the fight, beating Conor McGregor's previous $1 million payday. Lesnar's victory was later changed to a no contest after he tested positive for an anti-estrogen drug. He was docked $250,000 and banned from UFC competition for 1 year. Reportedly, he has never paid the fine. Mark Hunt sued Lesnar and UFC, claiming they knew that he took performance-enhancing drugs, but he let them fight anyway. In 2022, the U.S. District Court of Nevada dismissed the case, and Hunt was ordered to pay $690,000. He is 2.5 years removed from ending the streak at WrestleMania. Mike, what do you remember about Brock Lesnar and his WWE, UFC, WWE run?
I mean, his WWE run in the beginning was phenomenal. Went to UFC and had a hell of a run there too as well. I know he was defeated maybe once or twice maybe, but I mean, he had a hell of a run in UFC, and he was I expected him to do bigger things in the UFC and stay there, but he came back to WWE and just as good in shape, 39 years old, great shape, built like a brick shit house, man. And hell of a worker.
We're 20 seconds away from our first pause.
Yeah, hell of a worker. And here's Paulie. I mean, he's got Paulie as his manager. I mean, one of the best in the business. So, I mean, to me, Brock Lesnar didn't need Paulie to get over, but boy, did Paulie, definitely, Paulie Heyman definitely gave him a boost.
4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Mike, we've paused on you nodding in agreement during Paul Heyman's ring introduction of Brock. You're into it.
I'm into it. I'm marking out, man. Paulie's the best, man. Paul Heyman is the best at what he does, man. I mean, behind the curtain, outside the curtain, in the ring, he is just phenomenal, man. I mean, Paulie he can get anybody over. But as far as this combination right here with Paulie and Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, was the best in the business. And I mean, Paul Heyman could cut a promo and you could just be captivated by it. And every night I was in that fucking ring, I'd always just be having my eyes on Paulie and just listen to every word he's got to say, because he didn't only captivate me, he captivated everybody, millions around on the camera, on the television, and the crowd as well.
Let's start again. In 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, Paulie took the microphone away from JoJo. You remember any good things about JoJo?
Yeah, she was great talent. She's a hell of a ring announcer. She was actually one of the camera guys named Luis, really good guy and everything on the camera crew for many years. I believe she was his niece. So definitely got her a walk into step into the NXT, and here she is, announcing SummerSlam. So this is big for her. And she was a very sweet young lady, that's for sure.
Entering the ring, Mike, is 36-year-old Randy Orton. He has been gone for 10 months after suffering a shoulder injury, which he says occurred in a match in Chicago in October of last year. Dave Meltzer reports that he injured his shoulder taking out the trash. Leading up to this match, he has had 9 matches since his return. Mike, what do you remember hearing about Randy Orton's injury?
Yeah, I mean, Randy Orton had, I believe he had surgery on both shoulders at some point in time in his career. But I remember, when Randy would have surgery, he'd take care of it. I mean, he'd bounce back. But this one was a little bit more time being off, 9 to 10 months. And, me, myself, going through, I mean, I'm nothing like in, physique like Randy Orton, but me and myself, when I had rotator cuff and 2 bicep tears in my shoulder, it took me a good 6, 7, 8 months to get back into shape with just the shoulder. Definitely it happened in my 50s, but Randy bounced back, and here he was. He was facing Brock Lesnar. I don't know if I would want to face Brock Lesnar coming off an injury, but here he was and ready to go, man. That's for sure.
So, Mike, this is a very long intro for both men. This match lasts only 11 minutes, 45 seconds.
Right.
It's plotting. The crowd is massively quiet throughout it. It doesn't make sense. Mike, why are we watching this as we are 18 seconds away from our next pause?
Yeah, I mean, to me, there was no really build up to this match at all. There was no big storyline. I mean, Brock coming back from UFC 43 days later, and Randy being out for 9 months.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Your standard stand, middle of them stance, Mike.
That's a standard stance, getting in between them a little bit there to be in the third man in the ring. And with this match,
what's the difference between this match, Mike, and every other match you've refereed?
Well, be honest with you, this match I really didn't know the finish, and I really didn't know it. I didn't really know too much was going on. I did know that Brock was going to probably be going over at some point, that's for sure. But it was kind of
probably.
Yeah, I mean, well, I knew Brock was going to go over, but we didn't know. I didn't know the finish. I didn't know how it really was going to end. And I was talking to Randy pretty much all day, asking him questions on, hey, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got? And getting back with Brock, and then Brock every once in a while was like, we're still putting everything together, and just call it out there, and which is cool. I mean, it's cool. I'm a professional what I do, so we talk in the ring, we communicate, and definitely I'm just thinking, okay, I'm going to go out there and do the match, and just see what happens, because I really basically didn't know the finish to this match.
This is one
in a lifetime. This is probably, I could say, the first time in my whole career I really didn't know what was going to happen at the finish. And we'll get to that point at the end and stuff, and you can see how confused I was as well. So
you don't think it's weird as you're like getting angry? Hey, someone tell me what's going on.
There's no point for me to get angry. I'm not, I'm the third man in the ring at this point, and usually always the third man in the ring. So I just got to call it down the middle. A little nervous, not knowing what's going to happen, or not knowing the finish. So I got to be on my guard and got to be on point. So cross my T's, dot my I's, and right now I'm just in there doing my job, and when the boys talk to me and tell me what's going on, we just go through it, man. That's for sure.
No agent tells you, hey, be ready for anything, or
it was kind of, those words were probably pretty much the same as you're right, like Michael Hayes. Johnny had a little input on this match. Michael Hayes was running it, and it was kind of just just go out there and do the match. And I'm not going to have to be told 10 times that. I'm not going to go why. So I'm just going to go out there and do my job. That's for sure. But
you don't think it's like one of the requirements of the match that you should know the finish, or you should know what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it should, but to me, there wasn't a title match. This match was put together for an uncertain reason, which I really, really don't know the bottom line to it. So, this match was put together, and I had the match. I was called on to do the match in production office. When they go through the production meetings and so forth, and I've done tons of Brock matches. I've done tons of Randy's matches. And like I said, it wasn't a title match. So I just I had to see, if it was going to be an F5 or if it was going to be something else, or, I was just ready for anything.
Let's start up again in 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, since you literally don't know what's going to happen, what's your match expectation between the two?
I expect a good match, between, you got Randy Orton in there, and he's at this point, he's a vet. Brock is a total vet. They're both old school, and I expected a pretty good match, but I believe for the first so many minutes, like Brock took over this, he just took over and dominated the first probably 5 to 6 minutes out of an 11-minute match.
This match is billed as 15 years in the making. Their only singles match is September 5th, 2002, when new 9-day champion Brock Lesnar, fresh off defeating The Rock at SummerSlam, defeats Randy Orton in a non-title match on SmackDown. A match that you refereed, Mike.
Ah.
What sticks out into your head watching these two 20-year-olds wrestle who have a combined 311 matches under their belt at this point?
Wow. I mean, that's experience, right? I mean, that's total experience.
Not here, because there are only 300 between them.
Right. Between them. But it's still, I mean, at this point,
10 seconds.
When they had this match set up, I mean, they're both experienced. They're both very
5,
established
4,
workers.
3, 2, 1, freeze. So we have a suplex here from Orton to or from Lesnar to Orton, and
Suplex City, bitch.
Right. He lands with both hands on either side of him. That's the correct way to take the suplex, right?
That's correct.
Okay, let's start again. 3. I'm sorry. Stand by. 3, 2, 1, play. Now look at you. 20 seconds away. You give the OK arm signal in a second, which we've seen here before on IRFB. There it is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're probably concerned at this point when he took a suplex. You know, he landed on his shoulders, but that is the correct way to land.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. So this suplex, he lands differently.
I mean, but he has, it's not too much. He didn't really get him high up in the air and come back down. So yeah, he's going to land a little bit different, but still he's landing flat. It's like a flat back when you're coming back, you know, on your back, your shoulders and stuff.
So no concern here.
Yeah, there's no concern here. But I mean, they had asked me, you know, is he okay? Is he okay? Because, you know, they're probably concerned about his shoulder not being back in the ring for so long and only had
if
so
they're
many
so
matches.
Concerned at the beginning of the match, why even do it?
I don't know. I mean, he had 9 matches. You said it was about 9 matches prior to this.
It just seems weird that they would say, "Is he okay?" or check on him so early in a main event match.
Yeah, I mean, not really. You know, I mean, at this time they're concerned. You can't blame him for not checking on him. You know, just want to make sure he's okay or his shoulder's okay. They might have thought he landed wrong or funny,
right?
But just to double check on him is okay.
They want to make sure he's okay, unlike Goldberg, Undertaker, which we covered on IRFB, where you don't get anything from the back, right?
Exactly, right. Complete.
That's why I was smiling. Let's start again in 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, 3 suplexes here so far.
Yeah, I mean,
sitting on their hands, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it takes time to build up a match, and once you start building it up, which I don't even think they really got to a point to build it up. But I mean, this is New York too, and they're probably, you know, big Randy Orton fans, heel babyface, Brock Lesnar, heel babyface. You know, see another suplex. Right. And I mean, Brock had control of the first at least 4, 5, 6, minutes of the match. So I mean, he was taking control. Suplexes were good to go. He was giving them right. He wasn't throwing around, tossing around like a rag doll. That's for sure.
Does it get in your head when a crowd isn't into a match? Main event, especially big 4, especially.
True. I mean, it's weird. Usually New York's. I mean, if there was a title on the line, I think it would be a little more interesting. But I mean, definitely both. I mean, there was no. And see, that goes back to the storyline. I mean, what was the storyline build up? There wasn't long enough time to build the storyline. There was no really heat with them 3 months going into SummerSlam, which it's hard to build a storyline up these days. You have so many pay-per-views. But right here, you're just watching 2 professional top talents working in the ring and going at it here.
20 seconds.
So,
but
and
the crowd's into none of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, they're not. They're really not into it. They're just kind of, sitting there. All right, they see another suplex. But they're expecting this to build up probably
5
down the road.
4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. We've frozen on you talking into your arm, Mike. What are you communicating?
Yeah, I'm talking into the IFB. They're just asking me if Randy's okay, and I'm getting times at this point, times of the matches. And now I'm talking back right here, and I'm just not acknowledging. And that's I did that a lot, so I just wouldn't be talking into it would look like I'm talking into talking to myself in the middle of the match, or talking to the talent, but I'm talking back to gorilla position at that point.
We have a quick start and pause coming up, so we're going to start again in 3, 2, 1. Play. Get ready for a quick stop soon as you still talking to a checking again.
Yeah, that's giving the signal okay right there still. And,
15 seconds. So they've asked twice already if he's okay, or more.
I'd say about 3 or 4 times already.
Okay.
At this point, 4 times. You see me
5,
reaching back, and I'm talking.
4,
couldn't
3,
really hear me.
2, 1. Freeze. We've frozen on you. You've talked to the back twice in the past 20 seconds, and we've frozen on you shrugging like as your left hand is in the back communicating. IRFB Chioda, why are you shrugging? Go.
I'm shrugging because they're probably asking me too many times. Is he okay? Is he okay? And I'm thinking, fuck. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Because it was just a little too much in the beginning of the match. I mean, I don't think we're 5 minutes into the match, and they've asked, and he's taken some suplex, but he wasn't. I've seen Brock toss around some people over the years on them suplexes or anything he gives them, and he's not tossing Randy like a rag doll, and he's taking care of him on the suplexes.
He's taking care of him. How nice!
Yeah, I mean, he was taking care of him at this point. He really was. I mean, he was in the corner, and he was just knees, jabs, shoulder tackles in the corner, which was everything was going smooth, but they kept asking me. Kidman kept asking me, "Is he okay? Is he okay? Check on him. And I'm like, "Yeah, he's okay." So
see, that's just so weird to me because it seems like a lot of over concern for a main event.
Right.
Let's start again. 3, 2, 1. Play. Would you ever tell them he's fine? Stop out because look, even now. You have not let go talking to of your IRFB talking to the back.
I might have had some communication problems or something at this point, but I doubt I was probably turning up the volume. When I reach back to the back pocket, I might be turning up the volume too as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
there you go again. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because when I talk back, the clip is on my belt on the side. So when I flick that switch, that's when I'm talking back to them. If I'm reaching in my back pocket, that's when my IFFB, the box is in my back pocket.
20 seconds. We're out on the floor now, Mike.
Out on the floor, and Randy's starting to make a little bit of a comeback here.
10 seconds.
And then he shuts him down real quick.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze.
Boom.
We've frozen on Randy's face after a slam onto the table, Mike, that his back doesn't entirely take, and a table that doesn't break. Did you, as the ring crew, have the responsibility to set up these tables?
No, I never did the table. We always did the ring itself. Nick Dahl and everything. He's control of the Spanish table there. That's the Spanish table.
Was this supposed to break right here?
No, that table wasn't supposed to break on a little move like that. That's something very small. That table wasn't supposed to break at that point.
Tell us about setting these up to break and not break.
Well, there's just certain, like Nick Dahl, he's the stunt guy that takes care of all that stuff, and he's just going to pull a lot of the pins. There's pins in there that you pull out, and you'll pull the pins out, and when that table, and usually it's always the Spanish table that goes first. They always break the Spanish table, first in any kind of type of title match or anything like that. But it basically is the pins. You just slide out the pins before that match starts, and then it's ready to go if you need be to break away.
Let's start again. 3, 2, 1, play. Orton is getting beaten up here, Mike. No offense. Crowd doesn't love it. 7 suplexes. You're hearing some boos and not the good ones.
Yeah.
This affecting you yet?
No, it's not affecting me. It's just, I've just wondered where we're going next. Really didn't know a lot about the whole match. I knew there was going to be some inside interference. So, see, there goes the table there. So if the pins got pulled after the fact, or if the pins, that kind of throw was probably a frustrating throw, but I don't know. See the table just exploding right there?
Right.
Spanish table.
Who would remove the pins?
It would be Nick Dahl.
Just run over under. Okay.
Yep, runs under the table. Undoes the pins.
You telling him to get back in the ring here again?
Oh, of course.
Well, can you tell them?
I'm killing time here, because I'm out there the whole time because I knew that there was going to be an outside going to the outside for a while. So for me not to stand in the ring and just make him get back in the ring and just count.
But again, you don't know what's happening in this
exactly.
match.
So I'm just outside, and there's no way I'm counting them out. So I'm just giving them time by coming out there with them. Kind of protects the referee instead of staying in the ring with his thumb up his ass counting to 10. So
do you think that I don't know how to explain it?
No.
Do you tell the guys that pick it up?
No, you don't tell Brock. Brock's the leader in there. I'll relay messages from the agent. The agent really is,
would they say it?
What's that?
Would they say to pick it up?
Oh, they would say, pick it up, do this. Yeah, they'll say a lot of things. Tell them to pick it up, make this look better, do this. They'll try and relay messages. And sometimes I don't even relay those messages because, when you're working with a pro like Brock Lesnar, and Randy Orton, sometimes I'm telling you, half the times I don't relay those fucking messages because these guys know what they're doing out here. So
ever gotten in trouble for it?
There's a lot of times where I'll mimic it. I'll act
20 seconds.
And I won't say a fucking word because they're watching you on TV. So I'll sit there and just act like I'm saying something. And then later on, hey,
10 seconds.
Tell him that. I'll be, yeah, I told him. Yeah, I told him. You'll look back and see.
That's funny.
I'm talking.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Orton's first offense of the match, Mike, onto a table.
Right.
That doesn't break. Yep. Let's start again. But as you talk about it in 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, should this have broken?
I think so here because Randy's kind of looking, going, "What the fuck? How come his table didn't break?" But maybe not because he gave him the RKO there, and I doubt he'd probably want the whole table going when he's giving him the RKO. But maybe that little bit of a smile, maybe that table was supposed to break. But if they go back to it, it was supposed to break. But I don't think it was supposed to break here. It was supposed to be a solid table.
It doesn't look like it has a lot of give, Mike.
No, it doesn't. That table does not have no give.
So
none whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's always important. You'll see the talent clearing off the monitors. I'll even go by in a sweep real quick to try and clear off all the cables and microphones. And if there's nothing else clear, because you want to clear off that table before you hit the move on somebody.
Would Nick get in trouble if the table didn't break?
Yeah, he'll get some heat for it. He sure will get talked to. If there's certain times when a table is supposed to go and it doesn't. Yeah, they get reamed out. I'm sure they get reprimanded. That's for sure. Because those stunts are pretty important.
DDT by Orton. This is your first check on Lesnar to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, Lesnar's fine right here. He's fine right here. That was a nice DDT though by Orton. Love that DDT off the ropes.
Orton looks like he's favoring a shoulder a little bit. Do you see that? Right after this RKO, he's going to go for a pin.
Yep.
And when he gets off it, right here, you'll see him grimace a little bit. Any concern here?
Yeah, he's kind of favoring that left shoulder a little bit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So you're bent over on them.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, he's either selling his shoulder from what he did, what Brock had did to him, or at this point it's kind of hurting a little bit bad on him. So I mean, but to me, I don't know if Randy took time off. He didn't take time off after this match for his shoulder, did he? I
No.
don't think he was back out. So to me, I'm pretty sure he's just selling his shoulder at this point. Yeah, that's good old school, registering what Brock had did to him not too long ago.
Did you ever hear about the trash can story?
No, I did not.
No. Do you think what's standard time on a shoulder?
Oof, I don't know. It's all different because the shoulder, like I said, when my surgery and stuff, I was out for 7-8 months.
Okay.
And I'm just refereeing, so I mean, I'm using my arm all the time, my shoulder, and that like I had for years. But when it went on me, man, it was a good 7-8 months of recovery.
And we're 20 seconds away from the big moment here on IRFB. Lesnar's taking off his his gloves, and you got that look. We're 9 seconds away.
Right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze.
Yeah. Here he's, Randy was covering up and everything, and then Brock just pulled his head up and everything, made sure he's giving him the elbows to the forehead. So when I seen that and I seen the gash open up, it was just like, whoa, what the fuck? So right now, he's going into the elbow. He's going to UFC mode right here.
This is why we are here. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer says the following. The story behind Lesnar versus Orton was to create a scenario where nobody knew where reality ended and preferably where people thought Lesnar was breaking the code or script. Orton wasn't told until he got to the arena as he was planning for a usual main event. He was told when he got there that he was not going to have a normal match and that the match wasn't about going back and forth and keeping both men strong, but about making Lesnar stronger. Right. The original idea was to be a total destruction for Lesnar where Orton would be on the ground bleeding. It was supposed to look like Lesnar went against the script on him and hurt him. There would be confusion, and the match would end with Orton seemingly concussed and the referee stopping the match. Mike, what are you thinking right here?
Well, I was concerned because I really didn't know what the finish was going to be. Was it and Randy Orton going to be knocked out? And I was just going to call a match at this point. And coming off of UFC, and they wanted to make him look stronger. And whether they use Randy or anybody else, I mean, it was just like, hey, they wanted Brock Lesnar to come back from USC, 43 days later and be just as strong as possible. And to me, right here, Brock was not going into business for himself. He was, Brock ain't that type of person. He ain't that type of wrestler guy or, and anything going into business for himself. If anything, he's just listening and told what to do and chain of command on how much they want to push him. So, This is not Brock just going into business for himself. That's for sure. This is coming from the higher. This is coming from the higher ups. And
okay,
Brock just ain't that type of person, man. He's a good dude.
Meltzer says regarding you, I don't know this as a fact, but I believe the referee knew going in that Lesnar was winning. But if he did, was given a different finish because the fact Lesnar was going over was not kept secret. One person noted that Orton was told to do it, but wasn't expecting it to be that way, be the way it was. He wasn't going to complain publicly about it, but also was never going to do that kind of favor again and wasn't particularly thrilled by it. Right. So when you say you knew nothing, Mike, you knew the finish.
No, I really didn't know what the finish was, and we'll discuss that coming up here in a little bit, and you'll see how confused I was.
Right.
So, at this point, it's just it was going to be an awkward finish. I knew something was going to be awkward. And, I was shocked just as much as the crowd was in Brooklyn shocked that day. Paulie's over there probably just looking at things. Look at Paulie just looking over there. Paulie's not showing any emotion, like keep it going like usual, It's
interesting to me that you see a legit shot on basically your friend and said, okay, this must be coming from the higher ups.
Right. No doubt. I mean, so because I just know Brock's not that kind of fucking dude, man. He's just not going to go into business for himself. The higher ups are going to tell him how they want to push him and what they want to make him look like. It just so happened to be him coming back off of UFC and everything, and him coming into SummerSlam, Brock facing Randy. That Randy was the guy to take this. And Randy didn't know much all day, man. When I talked to him, and me and Randy go back a long ways, and his friends and stuff like that, and same with Brock. But yeah, like Randy was worried all day. He was real worried all day because he really didn't know what was going to go on.
Talk us through the next portion of this, Mike. I'm going to start us up again in 3, 2, 1, play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. So, I mean, he turns him over and he's hitting him on the shoulder, which is no big deal and everything. So, I mean, he starts the juice right there, and that's the hard way. So, I mean, definitely caught him with the elbow. Yeah, and it's a little scary. You wonder if he's concussed. You wonder if he's okay. But I'm talking to Randy. He's getting back to me. He's okay. But at this point, I could tell he's upset. He's pissed. Whatever. So, I'm just trying to check on Randy and make sure he's going to get the right attention.
Let's start again. In 3, 2, 1, play. What's safer, do you think, Mike? A blade job or a hard way? 20 seconds.
It depends. If you're a professional using a blade, you could do it right. But I've seen some guys cut themselves open up too much.
10 seconds.
Always the hard way is the toughest. That's for sure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Frozen on Orton being busted open, bleeding onto the canvas, Mike. You've called for the doc. I'm going to quote I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to quote 2 people from a Reddit message board, Mike.
Gotcha.
Quote number 1. I do remember that when Brock stepped aside and Chioda checked on Orton, this was when the huge amount of blood started to pour into the mat like crazy. He had this look of, what the fuck do I do?
Right.
Another person wrote on Reddit, something that I noticed fairly quickly was Chioda was so shocked that it took him a few minutes to actually put on those latex gloves the refs used when blood was drawn. Chioda usually does it almost immediately. IRFB, Chioda, go.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they're asking me to definitely bring in the doc at this point, get him in there. To me, I would have called if I had control of the match myself, I would have called it right away. And knowing that at this point in WWE, you didn't want to show a lot of blood. And if you were showing a lot of blood, you'd have to get stapled up or glued up real quick, pause the match. And if the talent can continue the match. But right here, I'm definitely totally concerned about Randy right now. Being gassed open.
You haven't reached for your IRFB once to talk back.
No, not right now.
No,
not right now. So I'm just getting a doctor in here and seeing what's going on. So the doctor will get in, and you can tell the gash right there on his forehead is pretty big.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if the doc's going to come in. We're going to glue it up. Are they going to go back at it? Is Randy going to make a comeback? But it was kind of just, and at this point, remember, Randy didn't have too many offensive moves. Couple elbows, maybe RKO on the table, and the DDT inside the ring, and that's kind of it.
Do you think another hard way could be coming?
Not at this point, because I mean, I didn't think so, because I'm like, there is enough blood. He's gashed open big.
But this doesn't surprise you that much.
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising me that night, because of what they were, because it was happening to Randy. We all didn't know what was going on. This match was no big title match. It was no this. And, Randy was concerned all day. He didn't know what the hell was going on. And you're going in there with one of the most incredible beasts in the business of professional wrestling, Brock Lesnar. And Randy ain't no pushover either. That's for sure. So, I mean, it's just, he knew he was going to do the job.
That's not how these things go.
No, I mean,
in your business.
No, it doesn't. Usually 99% of the times it doesn't go like this. That's for sure.
And if it does, the other person's going to try to fight back.
Well, that's if they know that if somebody's trying to take the business in their own hand, but Brock wasn't doing it. I think it was coming from the top. Randy knew he was in a shit show that night in Brooklyn at SummerSlam, and he was just going in there and dealing with it. That's it,
Let's start again. In 3, 2, 1, play. Mike, you call for the medical personnel to come in.
Right.
Do you think they knew the finish?
No, I don't believe the person.
Who is this? Who is this coming in here now?
Dr. Chris Robinson right here.
Tell us about him.
Good guy. Very experienced doctor. Hell of a doctor. And, I had a very good relationship with Chris Robinson. And he's the one that actually was taking care of me when my shoulder was hurt.
20 seconds.
For 6, 7, 8 months when I was out and stuff before I got released. But Chris definitely knows what he's doing and hell of a doctor. So
10 seconds. Orton back, or Lesnar back on Orton.
Yep. He's back on
Orton. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze.
He's not getting any punches in if you can, Randy's covering up really good. Right. But at this point, Randy's covering up real fucking good because he doesn't know what's coming next, I believe. Right. So, and I didn't know what was going on either because you see me going over the timekeeper, like, what the fuck is?
Yep. What? Yeah. What are you saying?
So I'm just wondering, hey, is this fucking over or what, man? I didn't know what was going on. Like I said, the first time in my career, I pretty much walked into a SummerSlam pay-per-view not knowing what was the finish.
Let's start up again. 3, 2, 1, play. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Okay, Mike. You have your hands on Brock trying to keep him back.
That's one thing you don't do with Brock is put too many hands on him. So, I mean, if he wanted to be a dick, he could have tossed me about 20, 30 feet or gave me the F5. I'm talking.
You don't see your hands on wrestlers.
Well, certain guys, yeah. Taker, Brock, there's just certain guys you don't put your hands on there, And it's just it's a character thing that they portray, and they could do it in real life anyway. So, I mean, at this point, they're telling me I remember them saying, okay, enough is enough. All right, stop.
Okay. You're either being told what's going on in your IRFB.
Yep.
You're a very brave man protecting your friend, or you're the dumbest man on earth trying to hold back a UFC fighter who is shooting in the ring, Mike.
Right. I'd say the dumbest man right now. No, I mean, hey, we communicate and Brock works well, man. I've never, I've with all the years I worked with Brock Lesnar and throughout all the unbelievable matches with Kurt Angle and Roman Reigns and, the cash in the Money in the Bank and so many other matches with Brock and Chris Benoit and just so many on down the road. I've never had a problem with Brock Lesnar being a third man in the ring. I've never had to, always professional, going over the matches with him and Paul. And, Paul always loved me. He would always want me to be the referee with Brock's match at most of the times when, I worked with them. And because Paul loved how I just refereed his matches.
No fear whatsoever, not even a little?
No fear for me, There was no fear for me, myself. It was a little bit of nervousness and worriedness and concern for Randy Orton, what was going to be next.
Let's start again. In 3, 2, 1, play. Holding him back. You got both hands on him now for a second.
Yeah, I'm just telling him, let the doctor check him out.
20 seconds.
No more. Just calm down.
Who's in the ring with
so here he goes again. And they told him to come back and go after him again. And that's what I'm
10
Rock. But then they're like, okay, enough. But so
5,
sitting here.
4,
now we got
3, 2, 1, freeze, Mike. Go.
And now we're sitting here. We got two doctors. There's Chris Amon and Chris Robinson. Okay.
Tell us about the other Chris.
So Chris Amon's the head doctor of the WWE. So
Okay.
and he is now. So he's the head, the main doctor at WWE. Been with us quite a few years. Have a very good relationship with Chris Amon. And right now it's just weird. I mean, I'm not ringing the bell here. I don't know when to ring the bell. We got two doctors in the ring. There's too much time going by to where it's like, okay, are we continuing this match? Is this match over now? Because if you're watching this match, there's no bell, and we'll discuss that coming up when the bell does ring.
It rings right here where we've frozen.
That's correct.
It rings. You don't signal for it.
Don't even signal for
nope.
it. Nope.
You're facing Lesnar with your
right.
back completely turned from the timekeeper.
Right.
And because the bell rings, you're going to go out to her and she's going to announce, here is your winner by TKO, Brock Lesnar. Let's start again in 3, 2, 1, play. So you're going to go outside the ring now based on the bell ringing.
It's unbelievable. And the bell rings. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, let me get out there and see what's going on. So, I mean, I get out there and I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, it's a TKO. And I'm like, this match is over. So I'm mimicking, acting like I know what's going on, because that's why I'm coming over here.
20
like,
seconds.
What's going on? So let me ask you this question, Efren. Have you ever gone through a match and you've seen a TKO unless it was the
10 seconds,
the boxing brawl when, remember when Butterbean was in it?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. No, that which was, but that's what that match was.
I've never heard of a TKO before, unless it was Bart
not
Gunn
in wrestling.
When they had the boxing tournament with Butterbean and all the guys and Dr.
And
Death
Piper T ended in a disqualification at WrestleMania 2. So we didn't see it there either.
Right. So I mean, it was a TKO. I was like, when the fuck did we start doing TKOs in fucking wrestling?
Yeah, that must have rubbed you wrong, maybe.
No, I mean it rubbed me wrong, but I'm like, okay, if we're going TKO ways. Because here I'm thinking, okay, they want to put Brock Lesnar like as should be as a UFC fighter. So I'm thinking, okay, are we starting to go with TKOs now? Instead of pinfalls?
So weird, right?
Yeah, it was real weird, man. So that's how much I didn't know what was going on in the finish. And right here, you see my hand up again.
Yep. Okay, hand signal, Mike.
If Randy's okay. There's John Cone slid in the ring right there to your rear left, right on his right side of Brock Lesnar. So I mean, then they're asking me, is he okay? Is he okay? And I'm like, yeah, he's okay. I know he's fucking pissed, upset, but he probably just couldn't wait to get this match over with. That's for sure.
Do you have concern that the head doctor is in there now, in addition to the first Chris, who you think can handle everything without the head doctor?
No, I mean, I'm confident right now. It's definitely even when Chris Robinson jumped in the ring. He was right at ringside.
Did you think it was, okay, this is more serious than I thought because you have two doctors out here now?
No, I mean, they're just going to send another doctor out to go help him. That's all. And so they just wanted to get Randy back and stitch him up, staple him up, whatever it needed, and take care of him. And, the concern for Randy, just making sure he didn't have a concussion and all that. So, at this point, we're just concerned for Randy getting him back.
Let's start again. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay, here we go with more referees in the ring.
Yep. And I mean, if you're looking at Paul Heyman, usually he's very more animated.
Right.
He is so much more. Get him, Brock. Get him. Like destroy him, kill him. He's not doing nothing throughout the whole match. He's very animated. He's very, and then Brock's going after him again, and then we're getting cues in the back. But he's kind of just hitting his hand right there. He's not really even working on the cut.
Who's giving the cues?
It's that gorilla, and that's going to be Billy Kidman. But
to him, right?
Yeah. So I mean, they're giving cues to me. they
20
give keys to
seconds.
the other refs. So if the other ref is closer to Brock, they'll tell him, go get him. And so at this point, all the refs powdered. I
10
don't know why
seconds.
they powdered when Shane got in the ring. I was like, hey, I'm glad Shane's in the
5,
ring. He can help.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So I go back.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Your final check on Randy Orton.
Yeah, because I want to get Randy the hell out of here because to open up the space for Brock and Shane or whatever they're going to do. So I wanted, usually I wouldn't leave two guys in a confrontation at that point, but I wanted to go back to Randy and get him out.
It looks like he's telling you something or listening intently.
Yeah, probably let's get the fuck out of here. Get me the
we'll
fuck
get
out
we'll
of
get
here,
into more of what Randy tells you next week on our next match. We'll start again in 3, 2, 1, freeze or play. Pardon me. 8 seconds. 5, 4,
Right.
3, 2, 1, freeze.
Yeah.
We've frozen on you, Mike, giving that shocked look as Shane is about to get F5'd. Go.
That's a good shocked look right there. Looking at God damn, Shane's getting ready to get F5. But that's just selling it as a ref a little bit, not trying to oversell it, but selling like holy shit, F5's coming to Shane McMahon. And like I said before, I just went back over to Randy to try and get him out of the ring because he had to clear the ring for the F5. So,
and again, no clue this is going to happen.
At this point, I knew something was going to happen.
Well, right.
Kind of knew. I said, "Oh shit!" When Shane came in, thinking, okay, well, I didn't think Shane was going to give Brock his finish. So, I just figured, oh, Shane's going to get it one way or the other. He's going to get suplexed or. And of course, he got F5. So.
Let's start again in 3, 2, 1, play. F5 to Shane McMahon, and you leave the ring.
And he lands right in the blood.
Yeah.
See, Randy's fed over to the corner. He fed over to the corner. Shane's
20 seconds.
The other refs won't even come in to help me out. They just bailed on me. Thanks, Dan Angler. Thanks, John Cone.
10 seconds.
And then that comes the truth because you just don't know what Brock's going to do. So sometimes
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freeze. Final pause of the night, Mike. I have never known for you to be a sweater in the ring, but droplets are coming down onto the canvas, onto Shane. Lesnar's finally left. This sweat is yours. What is going through your head?
Well, shit, trying to give Shane some sweat. I mean, he's only been out there for a couple minutes, so sweat a little bit. I've been out there for 15 minutes at this point, maybe. But, sorry, Shane, if I sweat all over you that night. Yeah, I am a sweater. And usually, and this wasn't a very intense match for me to do my job because it was just a very slow-paced match, methodical match on Brock Lesnar's part. We didn't go much time at all, but just attending to Shane right here. And that's it. And you can tell it's Dan Angler's still on the outside, just sitting around waiting, just watching everything. He's not sweating at all.
Let's start again in 3, 2, 1, play. We are not done yet with this match, Mike.
No, we're not.
Backstage, Chris Jericho confronts Brock Lesnar. Talking on the True Geordie podcast, Jericho says the following. Elbows to the side of the head can kill you. If you get hit hard enough in the temple, you die. I was in Gorilla and I was fucking angry about it. And Brock came through and he saw me angry about it and decided he wanted to come challenge me. And we got into a little bit of an issue. And I was like, fuck this guy. I don't give a shit how big he is. Like, I don't fucking care. It's fucking wrong. And I will fight to the death. I will stand up for what I believe in to the death. And I remember literally being nose to nose with the guy and he's laughing and he was saying things that would probably get him canceled, like homophobic terms you shouldn't be saying. I see this big, giant, fat nose. And I'm like, if he comes any closer and takes a swing at me, I'm not even saying it as a tough guy, I'm literally going to bite his fucking nose off. I can see it right now. I'll bite his fucking nose off. Let's see how tough he is. He might kill me, but he's going to walk around for the rest of his life with no fucking nose. Mike, were you there? What happened when you went through Gorilla?
Well, I got back a little bit too late because I was with Randy Orton, so we were we were just sitting there and just taking care of Randy at that time, taking him all the way back to the trainers and stuff and so forth. So, at that point, it was a lot of hearsay. And I'd seen Jericho pissed off and everything, and he was still pissed off in the backstage area. Brock went to his dressing room. Randy went to the training room to get stitched up and taken care of. And, all doors were closed. So it was kind of like, I popped in, and I went back there with Randy to make sure he was right. Once the doctors took care of him,
how was that?
I left the room.
What was going on?
Well, stitching him up, clean the cut, checking him out for concussion protocol and everything. But Randy was fine.
Anyone else around him? Family?
Yeah, his wife was.
Okay.
So, at the time, it's just, when you get him back to train, there's no reason to sit there and watch him get stitched up and all that stuff. So you just got to give some room and let the trainers and the doctors do their job and everything. But yeah, I remember it was fucked up because I remember Jericho was pissed. Jericho, I think to myself, I think he thought that maybe Brock Lesnar was going into business for himself. And, at that time, that wasn't the story. Like I said there. And, of course, definitely an elbow shot to the temples. Yes, that could be dangerous. Yeah, it could be dangerous. But everything you do in wrestling is pretty damn dangerous. I mean, you jump off a fucking 18-foot cage like Mick Foley, or, you go through hell in a cell. You come off a 20-foot ladder. I mean, you could break your neck. You can, anything can happen. Split your head open. So, yeah, I mean, Jericho got a little pissed. And, and that's the thing, too, because that's how much I'm telling you, like being a third man in the ring, I didn't know too much what was going on. I mean, come on, Chris Jericho's a vet. So he was looking at that match going, what the fuck is happening here? So, I don't think he knew anything what was going on.
Did you see Lesnar afterwards or the next day talk about this match to him?
No, we didn't talk about anything.
Nope.
Just thanked him for the match and everything. I mean, what is there to tell him, can't really tell you, oh, and you didn't tell me what was going on, or so
that's what you say, but you don't.
Well, I mean, what do you get from it? What do you get from it? I mean, I know I didn't know that was coming from the top, so I mean, if they didn't want me to know,
I think if Mike Chioda's in the ring, you trust him. That knowledge.
I do.
No. You trust him with that knowledge to tell you because you're part of it. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Well, see, there's a thing where you come from in this business. You can get kayfabed all the way around. I mean, you get kayfabed left and right. A referee could be kayfabed. The other talent could be kayfabed. It's just if it's coming from the top, man, and from the office, it's a whole different ball game. If you take matters in your own hand, you'll be finding yourself on the unemployment line the next day. And that's in any corporate business.
Final thoughts on Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2016.
Well, I'm just glad that match ended, quickly. I'm glad Randy, survived that match, and nobody got, definitely hurt. A cut, stitches, that comes with wrestling. That comes with everything. It comes with any sport you play. So I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. And you could tell there was 2 shots, with the elbow to the foreheads, and everything else he was kind of taking care of Randy on the punches on the shoulder, and when Randy was covering up, he was really never getting back to that gash. So to me, they accomplished what they wanted to do as far as whether Brock was coming off USC or whether Randy had heat for being off for 9-10 months. Who knows the storyline between that? So, but it was, I don't want to say it wasn't a pleasure being the third man in the ring for that match, because it's always a pleasure being in with those guys. with Brock Lesnar and Randy. And hopefully you see him maybe you'll see him somewhere down the road when Randy comes back again. Maybe Randy will come back and go over.
Revenge, right?
Revenge.
As always, we want to hear everything you thought about this show. Want more of these? Think we can improve? We want to know. Find us online at Watch on Premiere on X/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads. We are at Premiere Streaming Network. Remember to use the hashtag IRefB. Mike, what do we have coming up for you? Where can they find your merchandise store?
Man, ProWrestlingTees.com. You can find a Third Man in the Ring shirt on Twitter at MJC Chioda, CHIODA.
Chioda. Mike, we have one more show to close out season 1 here on Premier Streaming Network. It's going to be a fun one next week on the season finale of IRefB. Mike Chioda, myself, and you will be watching Mick Foley versus Randy Orton from Backlash 2004, Mike.
Right on, right on. Can't wait to get into that one too as well, Efren. Let's do it.
Thank you to our sponsor, Central States Wrestling. You can find them online at cswwrestling.com. For artist producer JD Hoop, music composer Nikki Downing, and the one and only Mike Chioda. I'm Efren at Efren Blackjack. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time for IRefB exclusively on Premier Streaming Network. Bye-bye.
One love, Efren.